WWE star MVP has slammed Triple H in a series of Instagram comments, saying the game would not reunite the Hurt Business in WWE, and has implied that this one may contain some racial undertones. We'll let you know all the details on that. Plus, the storyline surrounding Brooks Jensen, the NXT superstar, has continued to take a strange twist, with his fiancée going to social media to plead for help as the former NXT star has gone missing. Will Ospreay retains the AEW International Championship in the main event of AEW Collision. Chris Jericho's Learning Tree faction will have a big trios match at Forbidden Door. AEW President Tony Khan says that Sting's retirement is the company's greatest achievement. Lio Rush qualifies for the TNT title match at Forbidden Door. Jim Ross says he wishes CM Punk was still in AEW. And Cody Rhodes reveals he was injured by Jacob Fatu during Fatu's debut on SmackDown on Friday. Hey guys, welcome back to Wrestling News 365. Hope everyone is doing very well. As always, there are plenty of news stories to get into in the world of professional wrestling. Let's start off talking about MVP slamming WWE's Chief Content Officer Paul Triple H Levesque because the game would not reunite the Hurt Business, and actually suggesting there might be a lot more to this story. Now, WWE's MVP hasn't held back as it pertains to the dissolution of the Hurt Business, as Bobby Lashley's manager MVP established the Hurt Business as a faction with the additions of Shelton Benjamin and the newly minted heel Cedric Alexander on Raw back in 2020 during the pandemic era of programming. Now, they would go on to dominate briefly, Lashley as the United States champion, Alexander and Benjamin as the Raw tag team champions, but not long after Lashley captured the WWE championship in 2021, he ejected them from the group, proceeding with MVP as his manager through teased reunions that never lasted until they also split, with MVP aligning with Omos. MVP recently reminisced over the group on Instagram, prompting some replies calling for them to reunite, asking where it went wrong, and suggesting he continue the brand with Lashley and the Street Profits. Now, to that particular idea, he replied, absolutely not, elaborating elsewhere, if it ain't the original, it ain't with me. Now, the former United States champion further addressed the idea that Vince McMahon was the one that put the pin to the group, noting that WWE CCO Triple H could have reunited the group when he took over creative, but he didn't want to. Now, this is where it goes to get really interesting. We can get some of these comments up on the screen right now. So, one person said, can't believe Vince effed this up. I assume it was him. Now, MVP responded by saying Triple H had the power to fix it. It continues by saying, can we get the Hurt Business back? And MVP replies, Triple H said no. Another fan said, should have kept you all together. Damn you, Vince. MVP reacted by saying, Triple H had the power to fix it. He chose not to. Go figure. Another fan said, the Triple H era is emasculating black men. I'm really hating it. MVP responded by saying, you see it. Someone else said, as much as I would love to see the Hurt Business back on TV, the only way I'd want it back is if Shelton Benjamin is back in the fold. Ain't the Hurt Business without him. Once he's back, let's run it back. MVP responded by saying, that's the only way. The current regime doesn't want it either. Another fan reacted by saying, what noise do we have to make for the Hurt Business to happen again? MVP said, quote, none. It's over. The powers that be made that clear. Another fan said, MVP, you got to talk to Hunter, Nick and William and get the band back together with Bobby Lashley, Shelton Benjamin and Cedric Alexander. MVP said, quote, we did. He said no. Finally, another fan said, somebody like you doesn't get to be world champion. It's your job to make people like me laugh. Now, he's referencing an infamous Triple H promo back in 2003 on an edition of Monday Night Raw prior to Triple H defeating Booker T that year to retain the World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania 19. Many have criticized that angle for its strong racial undertones and lack of a satisfying finish. Now, when quoting that promo, MVP simply responded with the 100 emoji, suggesting he implies and agrees with exactly what is being said there as well. Now, amongst those leaving comments was MVP's fellow WWE veteran Batista, saying, quote, "They left a lot of money on the table with that one. Color me confused," he wrote, to which MVP replied, and we were never given an explanation why. Now, MVP, of course, is scarcely seen on WWE television along with Amos, as opposed to under Vince McMahon's regime. During his absence, he has been open with former creative pitches pertaining to the Hurt Business, only recently revealing that he'd originally wanted Ricochet to join the group as well as Alexander. So what do you make of MVP's comments here? Is it accurate? Is he right with what he's saying? Do you think there is some merit to this one? Or is it a case of sour grapes from MVP? Let me know your thoughts about it. Let me know your reaction to it in the comment section below. Now, this is certainly a bit of a strange twist and a bit of a strange storyline when it comes to Brooks Jensen. Now, the fiancé of Brooks Jensen has turned to the fans for help after the former, and we use that in quotations, NXT star did not make a recent independent event. Now, taking to X, Chloe fought back tears as she spoke about Jensen using his real name, Ben Buchanan. She explained that Jensen was supposed to appear at an independent wrestling event after allegedly parting ways with WWE this week. Now, unfortunately, Jensen did not appear at the event and nobody is aware of his location. Now, Chloe shared her concern that her fiancé is drinking alone at some bar and made a passionate plea to the man that she loves. Now, we've got the video in question here. It does look like actually now the original tweet has been deleted, maybe due to some fan backlash about this angle going too far and touching too close to home. Here's the video and we'll continue on with the story straight after.
Hey everyone, I feel very funny doing this because I'm not the one who's typically in the spotlight. I'm Ben's fiance. Some of you know him previously as Brooks Jensen. I'm sorry. As you guys know, Ben was booked for his first promotion, and he didn't show up tonight. I'm not really sure where Ben is, and my gut tells me he's bottle deep in some bar somewhere. And I'm really sorry on behalf of Ben for the disappointment. I know a lot of you are looking forward to seeing him. I'm taking it to here because I can't get a hold of him. I haven't gotten a hold of him since earlier today when I thought he was at call time. Ben, I just, if you're out there and you're listening, I just want you to come home, and you don't have to be ashamed, and you're not who employs you, and I'm just hoping this will reach a broad enough audience that maybe some of you guys who have rooted for Ben along the way and, you know, hope to see him succeed can maybe get this across, and maybe you'll see it. I know he uses social media as a creative outlet, so I don't usually air out our business, and like I said, I just feel funny doing this, but I'm just hoping Ben sees it, and I'm just hoping Ben comes home. I love you, bub, so much.
Now, again, Jensen's alleged disappearance is the latest in a string of concerning actions by the second-generation wrestler. Jensen first began making headlines after he shared his independent booking information on social media, suggesting that he'd been let go by WWE. Even some people in WWE were confused by the move, as there had not been talks within NXT regarding Brooks being let go. More recently, he appeared at an independent event in another tease that he was leaving WWE. On Twitter, one fan shared their surprise that the NXT superstar was at the show, prompting Jensen to ask if he was working people now. Now, as to what's really going on here, for all of his teasing of leaving WWE and issues with NXT management, fans shouldn't expect to see Jensen part ways with the company anytime soon. Instead, Jensen remains under contract with WWE, and all these matters are part of a storyline to help elevate his character. Despite stating he is a free agent, it is believed that Jensen remains firmly under contract with WWE. Within NXT, the angle has been compared to Grayson Waller's feud with Shawn Michaels that helped elevate the current-day WWE Tag Team Champion. As for when Jensen will wrestle next, that remains to be seen. But certainly, this is something that's caught the attention of fans. We've even seen recently on NXT television, either in the background or during commercial breaks on social media, Jensen being pulled away by security, by police officers, being arrested, trespassing, all that kind of stuff. But this has received, as I mentioned, some criticism. The latest development with his fiancée going to social media, suggesting that they're taking this angle too far and actually getting people legitimately concerned when they shouldn't be, because it's just a storyline. Now, as I mentioned, the tweet in question now has actually been deleted from social media. So what do you make of all of this? What do you make of the latest twist and turn? Do you think they are taking it too far? Do you think the fact that it's prompting a reaction is a good thing? What do you think this is even going to mean? Is this the 2024 equivalent of like a Brian Pillman kind of situation, a loose cannon? How do you think this one's going to play out? Let me know your thoughts about it in the comment section below. Now, Will Ospreay is still the AEW International Champion after retaining his title on AEW Collision. Just 8 days removed from his AEW World Championship match with Swerve Strickland, AEW International Champion Will Ospreay put his title on the line against Brian Cage in the main event of Saturday's edition of Collision. After a hard-fought battle with the Machine, Ospreay retained his title by the skin of his teeth. Cage and Ospreay locked up close to the second-to-last episode of Collision before Forbidden Door, and for every move each man had, his opponent had an answer. Cage countered Ospreay's signature flying offense with his own brute strength, and Ospreay tried time and time again to catch Cage off guard with multiple Oscutter and hidden blade attempts. Ospreay attempted to pin Cage several times during the match, but between his own weary state and Cage's incredible stamina, Ospreay failed to secure the victory for 30 minutes. The same stamina, however, failed Cage in the final moments of the match when Ospreay dealt a Poison Rana and an Oscutter combo onto Cage. After yet another near fall, Ospreay bore his teeth in the corner as Cage struggled to his knees. Ospreay's elbow pad flew in the air as the AEW International Champion dealt one more devastated and unprotected hidden blade. Ospreay pinned Cage down for the 3 to retain his title. Now, there is no rest for the AEW International Champion as Ospreay is slated to team with Strickland, his Forbidden Door opponent, to face the Gates of Agony on the upcoming episode of AEW Dynamite. The following Sunday, the Aerial Assassin will stand across the ring from Strickland on Long Island in New York with his sights set on Strickland's AEW World Championship. Whether last night's extended match with Cage will impact Ospreay's performance come June 30 is yet to be seen. Now, speaking of Collision, a big match was announced last night for the upcoming Forbidden Door pay-per-view involving Chris Jericho. Forbidden Door is only getting closer, and the second-to-last episode of AEW Collision, the card has further solidified the upcoming pay-per-view. As previously reported, after the events of Saturday's episode of Collision, fans can expect to see Chris Jericho, Big Bill, and Brian Keith take on the team of Samoa Joe, Hook, Katsuyori Shibata on Long Island in 8 days' time. Jericho and Bill began the evening by taking on Isaiah Cassidy and Mark Quinn of Private Party in a tag team match. The battle between the two teams raged on throughout several segments, with many near falls and a miracle move from Jericho, who kicked out of successful Gin and Juice by Private Party. Things unraveled for Private Party when, at ringside, Keith struck Cassidy with a pair of brass knuckles following a referee distraction from Bill. Jericho dove into the ring to capitalize and scored the pinfall on Cassidy. After Jericho and Bill's victory, Keith came into the ring to beat down the already battered Cassidy. Quinn's attempts to intercept the beatdown before Joe, Hook, and Shibata rushed to the ring and evened the odds. During this time, Shibata snapped Keith's arm backwards, and Keith rolled out to the ringside in pain. Joe quickly got his hands on the microphone before addressing Jericho. He mentioned that the two men have very different schools of thought and that he prefers to test his methods by the crucible of combat. Following this, Joe issued the challenge, a 6-man tag team match, Team Joe and whatever is left of Jericho's learning tree, and it looks like this is going to be taking place at Forbidden Door. Now, Tony Khan has been asked, what is the greatest achievement by All Elite Wrestling in the 5 years that it has been around? And he gave a pretty interesting answer. Tony Khan has ranked Sting's retirement from wrestling as the greatest thing that AEW has done. It's been almost 4 months since the Icon called time on his career at AEW Revolution, retaining the World Tag Team Championships alongside Darby Allin against the Young Bucks to finish his career of almost 4 decades on an undefeated run of 29 matches. Speaking to Bleacher Report, AEW President and CEO Tony Khan explained why he felt it was the greatest thing they've produced so far. He said, quote, "The greatest thing we've ever done in AEW, in my opinion, is the retirement of Sting and the way we handled Sting's final years as a pro wrestler," he said. He had one of the greatest careers ever in wrestling, and when he arrived in AEW, he did not feel that his prior run had been what he was looking for. Now, the prior run that Khan speaks of would be Sting's ill-fated WWE tenure from 2014 until his forced retirement in 2016. Sting wrestled just 3 times after making his surprise debut at Survivor Series back in 2014, losing to Triple H at WrestleMania 31 before challenging Seth Rollins for the WWE Championship later on that year. Now, he picked up a victory over Rollins and Big Show alongside John Cena in the lead-up to that bout, but sustained a severe spinal injury during that title challenge, which led to his retirement. Quote, "I don't think he had a great experience with WWE," Khan continued. "He was looking to do something very different. When I first talked to Sting, he was interested in having a comeback, but I don't think he ever imagined it would lead to a 3-year run in wrestling that would become legendary." Khan went further to describe Sting's final run as an immortal series of matches, including victories over the likes of Chris Jericho, FTR, and House of Black. Sting debuted at Dynamite Winter is Coming back in 2020, marking his much-awaited return to wrestling at Revolution back in 2021. Quote, "Sting was undefeated since his arrival, teaming with Darby Allin in every match," he said. "The two of them came together to become the most successful tag team in the history of AEW. They had some of our best matches ever, some of our biggest moments, and it built to them becoming AEW World Tag Team Champions. In the penultimate match of his career, Sting captured the titles alongside Darby from Ricky Starks and Big Bill. It was his first title reign since his 2011 run with the TNA World Championship, and securing the pinfall over the Bucks ensured that he retired as a champion in what Khan says is the greatest final bout in wrestling. Quote, "Sting and Darby vs. the Young Bucks at AEW Revolution was, in my opinion, the greatest send-off ever in pro wrestling," he said. "And Sting deserves that because he's one of the greatest wrestlers ever, and we were very lucky to have him in AEW." So, what do you make of Tony Khan's comments there? Is that the greatest thing that they've ever done, the retirement of Sting? Let me know your thoughts about that in the comment section below. Now, Lio Rush, he is going to be chasing the AEW TNT Championship, and also some updates on Willow Nightingale too. Now, 2 results from Friday's AEW Rampage came with potential championship ramifications, as Willow Nightingale advanced in the Owen Hart Foundation Women's Cup, and Lio Rush sees an opportunity at the TNT Championship. The vacant TNT title is on the line at Forbidden Door in a 6-man ladder match, and Rush defeated Action Andretti to place himself alongside Ring of Honor World Champion Mark Briscoe, Konosuke Takeshita, Dante Martin, and Jack Perry, with one more participant to be determined. This year's Owen Hart Cup tournament will reward both the women and men's competitors with a respective world title shot at AEW All In at Wembley Stadium in August. Last year's winner, Nightingale, took one more step to retaining the crown during Rampage, defeating Serena Deeb in the main event of the show. With her win, she'll now face friend-turned-rival Chris Statlander in the semi-final after Statlander's victory over Nyla Rose during Dynamite on Wednesday. There's still much action to be had on the other side of the bracket, with Deonna Purrazzo scheduled to face Hikaru Shida and Mariah May against Saraya in the quarterfinals. The men's Owen Hart Cup kicked off earlier this week on Dynamite, with Pac upsetting Claudio Castagnoli to book his place in the semi-finals. He will await the result of Bryan Danielson against Shingo Takagi at Forbidden Door to determine his opponent. And on the other side of the bracket, Jay White is scheduled to face Rey Fenix, while Jeff Jarrett will face a wildcard opponent. Now, let's talk about Jim Ross wishing that CM Punk was still with All Elite Wrestling. Now, on his Grilling JR podcast, WWE Hall of Famer and current AEW announcer Jim Ross spoke about CM Punk, his time in AEW, and their recent conversations. He said, quote, "I get text messages from him on a somewhat frequent basis because he's just checking in on me to see how I'm feeling. He likes me and he respects me, and it's reciprocal. I miss CM Punk. I thought he contributed greatly to the AEW roster when he was with us. To be perfectly candid, I wish he still was. How do you not want a talent the level of CM Punk's not still with your company? It, personality-wise, just does not work out, and that's unfortunate." Now, do you agree with what Jim Ross is saying, and do you think AEW misses Punk? Let me know your thoughts about that in the comment section below too. And finally, Cody Rhodes has revealed the extent of the damage dealt to him by Jacob Fatu this Friday. On this week's episode of SmackDown, Cody Rhodes faced off against Solo Sikoa in a match that ended by disqualification after interference by Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa. Following the match, Jacob Fatu made his WWE debut, laying waste to Cody as well as Randy Orton and Kevin Owens, and officially joining the Bloodline after months of waiting. Jacob left a lot of chaos in his path, which included an injury to the current WWE champion, though it hasn't put a hold on his wrestling. At last night's WWE Live event, Cody Rhodes took to the microphone where he announced he suffered 2 broken ribs on this week's SmackDown show. Cody continued to wrestle through the injury, defeating Shinsuke Nakamura to retain the undisputed WWE Championship. So, What do you think? Do you think this is Cody Rhodes working, or do you think legitimately he suffered the broken ribs? Let me know your thoughts about that one as well. But there you go, guys. The latest pro wrestling news for you. Be sure to smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe bottom right-hand corner. As always, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and I'll speak to you again very, very soon.
Hey guys, thank you for watching, listening, streaming, or however you come across this video today. Be sure to click on the video on the right there to watch our next video, or click the bottom there to subscribe, or the bottom right-hand corner. Thank you very much, and I'll speak to you again very soon.